criminal investigations, and then hiding in plain view is one of the most famous, but at the same time secretive lobbying organizations in the world. And it's right up there at the pinnacle of power. It's
so what are the sort of things they're deciding then? Are they going to affect us all?
Absolutely. It was the BBC decades ago that got the internal documents of Bilderberg, how they secretly hatched the plan for the euro back in the 50s. They are the groups that have basically set up the too big to fail idea of using taxpayer money to bail out the ultra-rich billionaires. They also are meeting many times with EU, UK, US regulators and with the people they're regulating.
And it's sinister, is it?
It is very, very sinister because you have people like Prince Bernhard who founded it,
so they're up to no good in there. That's what you're really telling me is that all these people who we think are kind of okay, they're not okay.
Not everyone who goes to Bilderberg for my research is a scoundrel or a villain.
Oh, that's good.
But there are definitely villains
in there
who are trying to basically organize government and business.
So, and this is a plot against ordinary people then, is it?
The Bilderberg Group is well known by mainline researchers and historians as a authoritarian kind of robber baron 2.0 organization, and the mainstream media, at least in the United States, until just a few years ago, would not even admit that it existed.
Right, so they're bad people, but how bad are they?
It runs the gamut of the different types of corruption, but the biggest issue is that they're in there with regulators trying to figure out tax avoidance schemes for themselves, how to put their losses off on the public.
So is it mainly about money, do you think? Is it mainly a financial conspiracy?
Financial control and fiat currency is at the core of it, but it runs the gamut. You'll have in some of the meetings top global regulators over energy meeting with the energy company heads, and then after the meeting they go and shut down their competition. So there's a lot of insider things that are going on.
So it's shocking.
It is shocking, and the great news is now we're getting more and more mainline media press, but also alternative media press coverage of this, so now we can have a real investigation. Just the info we've gotten over the last 2 decades or so of my research is unbelievable, the amount of influence they're wielding in there.
But once you got all the press here and all these cameras, aren't they going to just go into more secret meetings that we won't hear about?
It's true that the Bilderberg Group is used as kind of a place to meet and then set off. It is true that the Bilderberg Group is used as a place to meet and then kind of have spin-off meetings, and that does go on. But now we discovered one of those last month in the United States, a depopulation meeting with Bill Gates and others meeting in secret.
But you can't stop secret meetings, can you?
No, but as muckraking press, we need to go back to the old days of 50, 60, 70 years ago of when the media really would try to get in to the fat cat smoky room secret meeting. So we're rediscovering the smoky room. We're rediscovering that power gets behind the scenes and tries to screw the little people and tries to use government regulation to shut down the people. And we're here in defiance of that.
Yes!
So what should we have an assault then? What are we going to do now?
We are assaulting the Bilderberg Group with the searing lights of publicity.
Oh, right, that's us.
That will burn them up in the light of truth. Like Count Dracula at high noon.
Yes.
Okay, right. And you've come all the way from America to tell us that, have you?
God bless him.
Absolutely, because the whole world is a stage. Each of us players upon it. They don't want us to know they're on the stage. They don't want us to know that they exist. They want us to think prime ministers and presidents that the buck stops there. We are exposing the puppet masters hiding behind a ring of steel.
All right,
the puppet masters do exist.
Yes!
So look, if you've got a chance of shouting a message to these people, let's just hear what the message would be. Just shout it out.
BBC, do your job.
Yeah, that's what we on the BBC.
All right, folks.
Yeah, why is that?
No, let's just give us a shout of what you'd like them to hear.
My message to the Bilderberg Group is this. The hot lights of publicity are now on you. You've tried to hide from them for decades. And I know, because I've talked to my senatorial connections and also media connections, that a large contingent of Bilderberg Group members, the younger people, mainly the media moguls and people like Peter Thiel, are openly debating on the real agenda this year, going public and having real transparency. And so I tell you now, it's time for you to speak to the press, and it's time for you to be honest about the things you've done before more of you get indicted like you did back in the 70s with the Lockheed Martin scandal. So know this, we're aware of your lobbying, we're aware of you behind the closed doors, trying to get your fingers into the government stream of money, and we are here to point out that this is going on, and it's outrageous that many of you are worth 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 billion that attend this, and that you would make the taxpayers fit most of the bill for the iron fence that you've demanded that be built around the compound that you're meeting in. It is disgusting, and it's nothing but a exclamation point illustrating how we pay for your whole life and your whole world, and most of you are a bunch of stinking parasites.
Yes!
Now, what's in it for you personally?
Freedom for my children in the future and living in a constitutional republic. They're already trying to merge the North American Union that Bush signed back in 2005 in secret, but that got leaked, with the European Union. Those transatlantic deals are already being made. We know that's their plan to remove local control from the county, city, state, federal level. I want my U.S. government back. I don't want my representatives being puppets bought off in the dark behind steel fences. I want the criminal lobbying to stop now, and I want a future for my children to not be enslaved.
Yes!
Right, and what's your personal ambition? What would you like to be doing in 5 years' time or 10 years' time?
In 5 years' time, I would like to be basically off the air, and I'd like to be...
Take a year off?
No, I'd like to be a farmer on our family farm.
Oh, right.
That's what I would like to do. And I would like to see the globalists fall like the old Soviet Union. I'd like to see most of them, after a trial, obviously be sent to prison for the crimes against humanity that they've committed. And I would like to basically hand over the reins of my media operation to some of my crew to continue to muckrake. But if we weren't in such dire straits, I would not be broadcasting 7 days a week. I would not be traveling the world.
We appreciate
I would
Alex.
undoubtedly, semi-retire. I'd probably write some books.
Do you think they want to kill 80%?
All right, thank you, buddy.
Alex, do they want to kill 80% of the world's population? I saw.
Absolutely. If you look at State Department Memorandum 200 by Henry Kissinger, you guys want this on the BBC?
Keep going.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's talk about the goals of people like David Rockefeller, who praised Mao Zedong and his killing of over 60 million people in the New York Times. Look it up. Let's talk about Henry Kissinger, State Department Memorandum 200, 1973, calling for shutting off resources worldwide so that they could starve third world populations, and using war to destabilize countries so they couldn't industrialize, so that the Western world could maintain its dominance over everybody. They want a global new dark age, and they want all of us in the West poor as well. That's what they've talked about in some of their meetings from our moles, is how they want to make us poor so that we're so busy working 18 hours a day that we can't politically organize. They don't want a middle class. Tyrants always hate a middle class. These people want Agenda 21, a post-industrial world, a shutdown of society, and they are the enemy of free humanity. And I am here to put them on notice that the sleeping giant that is free humanity is rising.
Yes!
The answer to their 1984 society is 1776. The answer to 1984 is
1776!
1776 worldwide.
Woo!
We were in charge then, weren't we? We were in charge of America, weren't we?
1776. You know that the Parliament...
That wasn't a good year for us.
No, it was a good year for you.
Was it?
Most of your Parliament, when they tested them and they were going to vote, were for freedom in the colonies, because they knew that those were Englishmen and women who were being denied their rights under Magna Carta 1215, and the king had to come to Parliament and demand that they vote for that declaration of war, and so they did it. And that's why they lost, because it was a civil war within the Magna Carta, and out of that, we created the Bill of Rights and Constitution. America and the good parts of America is your heritage, and they've tried to turn you against it. 1776 belongs to England.
Yes!
1776. Yeah, your German queen is the usurper. They're the enemy. America and England against the New World Order. America and England. America and England against the New World Order. 1776.
Yes!
1776.
We could have been in charge of it.
No. King George, the German king, he lost to the people of the United States, who were people trying to demand the Magna Carta.
So you could still be one of our colonies.
Yes, the United States would still be a colony of the German royalty. But it's not. And you need to stop being a colony of the German royalty.
Yes.
A lot of things to learn, aren't there, really?
And it's time to kick out the governor generals out of Canada and out of Australia. It's time to remove the German monarchy. You like that? You asked me what 1776 stands for? That's what it stands for. Freedom worldwide.
Stop telling the truth, Alex. Stop telling the truth. You are, mate.
Right, well, it's lively. It's time for lunch, isn't it?
America's fight in 1776 was the fight that went on for 1,000 years in the British Isles and in Scotland and Ireland against Norman usurpers that came in here and enslaved. That's what the fight's all about. That's what 1776 is all about.
Woo!
Right, well, it's time for lunch.
Absolutely. Hey, it's not about divide and conquer. It's about coming together for our future of humanity and starting and lighting fires in the minds of man. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Now is the time. Now.
Give the poor man a cup of tea. He's not even.
No, you should
Come here, not even offering him a cup of tea.